I think the Steam Deck is a controversial device, and I was sure that it was useless for me when it was released. But here I am, with a Steam Deck in my hands, which I've been using for 2 months, and I got something to share with you. Today I'll tell you what changed my opinion, why I didn't choose ROG Ally, share my user experience, and talk about the features I discovered recently. So why I thought that Steam Deck is useless for me? The main reason is that I have high-end gaming PC, but at the same time I've been using it a lot less lately. Modern AAA games require too much free time from us. When I have a free hour to play, I don't want to waste it on another quest like deliver this to save the planet. And on the other hand, indie games often provide a good amount of fun, and they don't require RTX 4090 to play in 30 FPS. So maybe a handheld is all I need right now. There are a lot of good handhelds on the market, but the 2 most famous right now are the Steam Deck and ROG Ally. And for a reason. When Ally can provide a better hardware, Steam Deck can provide a better console experience, because of the software. But what's the point of powerful hardware if you can play a demanding game for a little more than an hour, and then run to the socket or stick to it at all? The point of portability in this case is practically lost. But if you're running indie games or older undemanding games, the Steam Deck will prove itself better in terms of energy efficiency and gaming experience. But I was curious, so I tried playing God of War on a Steam Deck, and he quickly warmed up, hands began to sweat, and I was losing 1% of the battery for every minute I played. And all this combined with a noisy fan. I cannot call that a great gaming experience, you know? So what I'm trying to say here, in my opinion, handhelds are perfect for indie games, or maybe for some old games with lower requirements. And Steam Deck is simply better optimized for that. For example, when I play The Messenger, it drains only 6 watts in total. Katana Zero from 6 to 8 watts, Hades from 10 to 15 watts, and the fans are silent. With that kind of power consumption, the battery can last for hours. This is where Steam Deck shines. And I don't need ROG Ally for games like that. And if you want to say that I could lower the resolution, limit TDP and frame rate, enable FSR, no thanks. Enjoy this pixel mess for yourself. It's horrible to look at and it's horrible to play. If you want to play such games, you'd better buy a PC or console and enjoy the beautiful picture on your monitor or TV, as it was intended by game designers. For some reason, you don't watch movies like Avatar in 720p on a smartphone, right? At least I hope so. ROG Ally can use any launcher for games, while Steam Deck uses the Steam library. At least that's what I thought till recently. There is a way to install other launchers, but it doesn't mean that you can play every game on it. Some games work not stable or just glitches. At some online games anti-cheat system refuses to work, but I know where they can work better, and with a Game Pass included. So I installed Windows as the second OS. It's not difficult to do. You can set everything up in one evening. All you have to do is install the application for dual boot, create a storage partition, install Windows on it, and then the drivers. This guy made a complete guide. I'll share a link to it in the description. After watching a review from Linus a year ago, I initially thought that installing Windows was a bad idea, but now drivers are in a much better state, and still I faced some problems. Constant fan noise, even at idle. Gamepad isn't recognized in games. Once you're in game, you won't be able to minimize or close it using hotkeys. And obviously, there is no power management for CPU. Fortunately for us, there is a software that not only fixes all these problems, but provides us some other Steam Deck tools as well. Now it has become a fully functional mini PC, and how you use it further depends on its hardware and your imagination. In my case, by plugging a single Type-C cable into the Steam Deck, it connects not just to a monitor, but to all my peripherals as well, since my monitor works as a USB hub, and I have a lot of devices connected to it. With SteamOS it works the same, all devices was detected, and ultrawide monitor is supported. You can adjust the resolution and refresh rate in the settings, but it doesn't mean that it will be the same in the games. The resolution always will be 720p, and it doesn't matter whether you connect to Full HD monitor or 4K TV, but the refresh rate is not limited. It's also nice that the keyboard and mouse are detected in SteamOS. In some games this can give an advantage, in others it can be a convenience. But obviously the image quality will be not the strongest point, It can be slightly improved by using scaling, and Steam Deck has 4 options for that. Default, nearest, slightly improves picture clarity, 1:1 pixel, and FSR, which is the best way to improve image quality at the cost of performance. And looks quite good on a Full HD monitor, but if resolution of the monitor is higher, I would not play it this way. But again, for games where gameplay is more important than the visual side, Steam Deck is great even on a 4K TV. And in case this and this is not a problem for you, feel free to play in whatever you like. But ROG Ally is one step ahead here, since you can connect an external GPU and transform your handheld into a powerful PC. And I like that concept, except for a few points. You can use this eGPU only with a few Asus products because of the proprietary connection. Their top-tier XG Mobile with RTX 4090 is just not even close in performance to the real 4090. It's very close to 4070 Ti and sometimes a little bit better. It means that you can get 4070 Ti for 2500 euros to your handheld. Looks like a great deal, isn't it? Seriously, just think about it for a second. If you want ROG Ally with an external GPU, that will cost you more than 3000 euros. When for that amount of money you could get a real desktop PC with an actual RTX 4090 and a Steam Deck for change. Maybe for some reason you are not interested in a home PC and you specifically need a combination of a Windows handheld and eGPU? I get it, but then why not look into GPD? They have excellent handhelds, a good reputation, and possibility to connect any eGPU via USB 4. Even if you order eGPU from AliExpress, which I reviewed on my channel, you'll be able to connect any graphics card within your budget and even upgrade it in the future. Besides, the newer GPD models have an Oculin port, which supports higher bandwidth limit. They even have their own eGPU. Of course the performance there will be lower than mobile 4090, but the price is also more than 4 times cheaper.
I'm sorry.
Do not be sorry. Be better.
On the other hand, not everyone interested in eGPU, and I totally understand people who choose ROG Ally. It has beautiful Full HD screen with high refresh rate, it handles demanding games better, and you can use any launcher for games right out of the box. Personally for me, the final factors in favor of the Steam Deck were the price, the presence of a trackpad, which is quite helpful when you're using Windows, and the fact that you genuinely get that console experience, where you turn on the console and in a few seconds you're ready to go. During gameplay, you can turn it off at any moment, and when you return, the game continues smoothly from where you left off, and because of that, most of the time I used SteamOS. And now it's time to explain why I called Steam Deck a controversial device at the beginning of the video. I've just returned from vacation and, as an experiment, brought the Steam Deck with me. Over that week, I used it for about 3 hours, at most, and it's hard to say that it came in handy there. As expected, portable gaming doesn't interest me that much, because when I travel, I'm getting away from my routine to rest from everything, including games. But at home, I would still prefer a PC, and owning both devices doesn't make sense to me, so one of them will be up for sale soon. This is the opinion I have formed about it during this time, but I might be wrong, and I'm curious. If you're a handheld owner, share with me your experience, where do you agree with me and where you don't.